Welcome to this EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, tapping video. So this is just a very basic introduction to tapping. And tapping or EFT is an incredible tool to move through emotions and to become more aware of our emotions. There are millions of YouTubes about EFT, so you can look them up online. What I want to encourage is for you to develop your own technique, and using the basic sort of framework of the tapping template, I invite you to really uncover through this process what emotions are blocking this flow of energy. What EFT is basically doing is it's tapping meridian points along the body, which is where energy flows. And whenever there's a block, usually due to an emotion or a past trauma, we block that flow of life force. So by tapping and acknowledging the emotion, we're basically bringing it to the surface and then allowing ourselves to feel through the feeling, healing, and then acknowledging, I choose, even though I feel this way, I choose to love myself. I choose to move this energy. I choose to be a magnet for money. And let me just say, I did tapping when I first started my business because I had so much fear and procrastination energy, and I would tap for procrastination. Just before I'd sit down to build my website, I would go into this freeze and fear response. It was like hectic. And when I found EFT, it was like this easy tool that I could just use. I'd sit at my laptop, get everything ready, and then tap and say, even though I feel so afraid of launching this website, I choose to love myself. And then as I would go along, I would start to uncover different emotions. Like actually it was a worthiness issue that came through. So it was like, wow, even though I feel unworthy, I choose to love myself. So the whole point with EFT is to be completely honest with ourselves. We don't want to suppress emotions. We don't want to pretend like we don't have this anxiety or these feelings. We want to really honor them, bring them to the surface, tap on them. And through that tapping and through that awareness, we actually transmute them and allow them to kind of flow out, basically. So yes, I'm going to do this particular tapping exercise for shame, and particularly shame around shining, around being seen, possibly any guilt or feelings of, just being kind of put down or made to feel small. And this is a very common emotion that blocks many people because shame as a sort of energy is very stagnant and it's very constricting. So we want to open our hearts, open that release to the potential and brightness that we were meant to be. So I want you to just repeat after me and remember that this is just a guideline. You can do it for the first round with me, and then you can start to, once you've got the sequence correct, you can then start using your own words. So let's begin. To start, we always say a mantra, and this I got from Brad Yates, who's an amazing EFT practitioner online. And the mantra goes, you sort of do the chopping board to start. So tapping with your fingertips on your side of your hand. I use my right hand because I'm right-handed. You can use your left hand, doesn't matter. Just tapping on the side of the hand. You can also do tapping like this, but I prefer to use my fingertips. If you have long nails, just, don't hit the nail, rather hit the fingers. So we're now tapping. And we start with the mantra, taking full responsibility for my own well-being. Taking full responsibility for my own well-being. You are responsible for your emotional state, for your well-being. So this mantra is a reminder. I take full responsibility for my own well-being. And then we start with, even though I feel these feelings of shame, and you can repeat after me, I choose to love and forgive myself. Even though I feel this shame in my body, I choose to love, honor, and forgive myself. All this fear and shame and smallness that I feel in my gut, in my body, I choose to love, honor it, and forgive it. And now we move to the eyebrow. So just in the front of the eyebrow, all this shame coming up right now, side of the eyebrow, side of the eye, all this shame around shining bright under the eye, all this shame that has kept me playing small under the nose, all these feelings of unworthiness and fear around being seen under the lips, all this shame that is coursing through my body. Now onto the chest, all this anxiety that sits in my chest that holds me back from breathing and being. Now under the armpits, letting this shame that may be from years and years back come forward now, feeling this shame, healing this shame. And then the top of the head, the crown, I choose to acknowledge the shame and forgive myself. And then starting again. And again, make up the words for yourself. I'll just do a round together. All this shame about wanting to be rich and successful. All this shame about being beautiful and amazing and desiring to be seen. All this fear that my brightness may offend or intimidate people. All this shame that may have been put onto me by others who felt jealous of my light. Acknowledging how shaming myself has made me feel afraid and small. Chest. Acknowledging how this shame has not served me in any way. All this shame that has kept me in my shell, prevented me from the joy and the love that I know I deserve. Choosing to release this shame, choosing to see things differently. We can keep going. Choosing to trust that my shine is beautiful. Choosing to allow myself to be seen in all my glory. Under the eye. Choosing to move any remaining blocks to receiving abundance and being bright and seen by the world. Choosing to trust that my light is beautiful and empowering for everyone. choosing to let that light and love radiate out of my being and serve the world. And letting go of any stories from my past that may have prevented this truth from being revealed. Choosing to forgive those who may have shamed me or taught me about shame. And choosing to forgive myself. Forgiving myself for any shame that I have or may have inflicted upon myself. In body, in mind, and in soul. Take a deep breath together. And exhale, release. So yes, you may need to do a couple of rounds. You may want to do a round with your own words. You may want to slightly adjust my words. The point is to really feel and trust that your voice will speak what needs to be spoken. You know, it'll come through. And to play with the meridians, to explore. Maybe your issue that you're dealing with is one of betrayal or feeling rejected. So even though I keep feeling rejected by my partner or my work or my boss, I choose to love myself. I choose to forgive myself for that story. And then moving it through the body, all this betrayal, all this rejection, you know, we've all got these blocks, these emotional traumas from so long ago that live in our subconscious. And what they tend to do is create stumbling blocks to our flow, to our synchronicities, to our magic. And so whenever you have a moment to do some tapping, even if you just in a public space and you start to feel that anxiety, tap your chest. I tap my chest all the time. It's immediate, the effect that it has on releasing tension in the heart space. So yes, I hope you enjoyed that. I will also send some links to do some of Brad Yates's videos, which are specific to certain emotions. But yeah, I really encourage you to play and do it yourself as well. Have a beautiful day and keep shining bright.